Welcome back to Nick's Wine Journal. Today's travels take us to a beautiful day in the middle of October to Portugal. More specifically than that, the north of Portugal. More specifically than that, the wine growing area of the Douro. Here in the Douro, the area is broken up into three portions. The first being the Baixo Corgo, then Cima Corgo, then Douro Superior. And here we find ourselves in the Cima Corgo. So what you're looking at now is the Douro River, which is where this valley gets its name from, the Douro Valley. And this river, if you were to continue down this river, you would empty out into the Atlantic. You go right into the town of Oporto and empty into the Atlantic. If you were to go up the river, you'd eventually get into Spain, where the Douro River continues. The name Douro comes River of Gold, and this area is known for 5 major grape varietals which go into port. However, there are a total of close to 50 varietals that you can use. The 5 major varietals are Tinto Roriz, Tinta Cao, Tinta Barroca, Touriga Nacional, and Touriga Francesca. So, of those 5 grape varietals, they all go into port, which is a fortified wine done by adding 77% proof brandy. This area here, as you can see, is very, very steep. And if you look at some of the terracing they have on the other side, it is the Patamare style terracing, which is running horizontally to the river. And they use that terracing for any vineyards that are of 40 degrees gradient or greater going up the mountain. So you can imagine how steep that is. If you see vertical planting, which you can sometimes see as well, that is preferred method because you can take a tractor up and down between the rows. However, it's only used in gradients of 40 degrees or less, and unfortunately there's not a lot of that because it's extremely steep here. So one thing that makes this area so unique, of course, is the terroir and the soil, which in this case is this slate-like rock, which is what we call schist. And as you can see next to me, this is what the whole Douro Valley looks like. But obviously, it would be very hard to plant any kind of vine here because it's all one piece of rock. So what they've done is they've aligned the rows with dynamite and they've blown it up. And they've blown it up into smaller pieces, which you can see here, which are slate-like crystallized rock, which create great drainage that allow the vines to shoot about 12 to 15 feet deep into the soil.
This is all mixes, varietal mixes. So there'll be some Tinto Roriz with some Touriga Francesca. They are the first to do co-fermentation. And we always said that this was done by mistake. The guy sort of looked in the shed and he found some Tinto Roriz and there was a hole in the vine, so he'd go in there and plant a Tinto Roriz. But actually, what we've discovered is that our ancestors understood the importance of co-fermenting varietals. So a varietal with a very thick skin but very little juice will perform much better in the fermenter if you put it with a thin-skinned varietal with a lot of juice, just from a mechanical reasoning. Also, a varietal like Tinto Roriz with a lot of tannins, well, actually the tannins of one varietal will help fix the colour and fruit of another varietal. So maybe like sort of Tinta Barroca. So co-fermenting actually creates a far better wine. And over here we've planted, or Antonio Magalhães, our chief viticulturist, has planted vines so that they will all mature together, and he can say, I want you to pick that section and put it into the same fermenter to create a better blend. He is planting, as Natasha said, for what is going to go into the same fermenter. They're already thinking in the vineyard what is going to mature together and what is going to go into the lagar together. And so This is a relatively new system, because the old system you did batch planting, and this system where we're actually mixing the varietals in the vineyard, that's something relatively new, and that is being led by David Guimarães and Antonio Magalhães. And the performance from these vineyards has really shown us that this is the way forward. Co-fermentation is the way to make quality port wine.